Welcome to Daily Meditation with Sangha Live.
So, good morning, everyone. Lovely to be with you, here with all of you. And I hope this morning you can see and hear me all right. Yesterday we had some hiccups with the camera, so I hope this is going to be working well for us this morning. And yeah, just a couple of the usual couple of things. Almost the little ritual of arriving here is to tell you that there is the chat box where you are saying your good mornings to each other and can share your impressions and your ideas with each other. And then we have a little question box, a squared little question box with a question mark in it, and there you can put your questions arising during the week. You might have things arising from the little task you were reflecting on yesterday, getting in touch with interconnectedness in our daily lives, and you might want to share something upon that. You can either do so in the chat box and maybe just write reflection in capital letters or sharing, or you could use the chat, the question box and do so. And I would be more than happy to pick that up later after the impulse of this morning, after our meditation on that. We can go into some sharing. Great. And as you know, these sessions run on Dana. So if you would like to support Sangha Life, and part of that support which you give to Sangha Life goes to us teachers. I will just say a big thank you to everything which arrived from the last weeks I was here. I feel a lot of gratitude towards the Sangha, and also want to mention that Dana is not a principle of pressure, but a principle of wisdom. A principle of wisdom to reflect on how much is possible, how much is responsible, how much makes sense for me in this situation right now. And I think generally the Buddha Dharma should not have a price tag. It should be affordable to everyone. Right. Good. That being said, the interconnectedness of Buddha Dharma and Dharma, let us go to our session today. I want to reflect on two themes. We're still within this concept of interconnectedness. And if we reflect on that interconnectedness and this idea that we are connected as beings with each other, the idea naturally arises that it probably would be a good thing if all these connections were love. Like the capillaries within the fine, thin bloodstreams within us, if everything which would be running in between us, humans or beings on this planet, all of what life is, were love. Wouldn't that be beautiful? I remember once I taught a retreat and a young man came up at the end and told me, he wished that just everybody would wake up. There was quite some emphasis behind what he was saying. Would finally wake up to the fact that all we are and all we need is love. And if only this love could flow freely between us, everything would be fine. And as nice as it sounds, I have to tell you, I felt a slight unease with that view. And I want to share the unease with you today and maybe find a balanced, a middle way perspective on this connection between love and interconnectedness this morning. Well, let's pick up that view that all we are or all we need is love. What happens if we hold on to that very tightly? Like any perspective, we can get quite dogmatic around our views and our perspectives, and that is just another one. What do I do then if I perceive someone, a person, a group, as not being love or loving? Or what do I do with myself if there is something which clearly is not love, which is maybe anger or neediness or loneliness. Yeah. If we cling to the view that love and harmony and peace with each other, yeah, is what it's supposed to be like, yeah, we can get pretty frustrated and angry with those who just don't get it. Why do you steer another argument? Why can't you just simply agree with the group? Yeah. Oh, why do you need to set this boundary up? It's not necessary. All I am is love. Why do you need boundaries? Yeah. And that frustration that can come through, yeah, and in quite frustrated, disappointed, bitter terms sometimes. Yeah, couldn't you just wake up to my version of what love and goodness are? Yeah. There can be some self-righteousness in this as well. It's still my version of what I perceive love and goodness to be like. Yeah, this is how the group is supposed to work. This is how we're supposed to communicate. This is how we're supposed to relate to each other. Yeah, can't you get that? If you would just be like me, and this is the assumption every human mind probably makes, that and how could we do it differently? Because this is the way we perceive the world. Yeah, this is the way we work a lot for the world to make sense to us, and then we get 80% of sense sometimes, and then we don't understand the other. Yeah, why do you see the world so differently? Yeah, why don't you look at things and see things and have the same values and virtues like me? Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, and the underlying assumption is that things would be so easy if just everyone would see the word and do the things like I would. Yeah, and that can cause some quite some frustration and anger. And it can also, this frustration and anger, it can also turn easily against ourselves. Yeah, when we think we are supposed to be love and kindness and care and goodness all the time. Yeah, and we just don't feel that. Yeah, we might come into a group, we might be in a relationship, and love and kindness and goodness are not the primary experience. Yeah, we can turn against ourselves, or we can try harder. Yeah, sometimes we can even try to get blind to certain things which hurt and harm. Yeah, because we think we are supposed to be harmony, we think we're supposed to be love. So there are quite some downfalls in this idea of in this framing of interconnectedness in the form of all we are, or we're supposed to be love. Yeah, I find that in groups this perspective can mute the concerns. It is suppressing diverging ideas. It's suppressing diverging needs within a group or a relationship, because as soon as someone does not agree or has a need, which he or she or they want to address, they are perceived as stirring up the pot. Yeah, and if groups create this rather toxic understanding of we're supposed to be harmony, those who do not agree or those who raise their concerns are perceived to disturb this false sense of harmony. It's a very brittle sense of harmony. It has to be held up right, with quite some pressure on the individuals. Yeah. So they can get easily outcasted. Yeah. Oh, you're complicated, or you're overly sensitive, or you're this, or you're that. Yeah. And these are very subtle forms. To me, these are very subtle forms of aggression. Yeah. This feeling of, when I speak up, I create some tension. I create some disharmony. I'm disturbing the harmony within the group or the relationship. And I better not do that. Yeah. And I just want to point out how that is a very subtle form of aggression. And rather than saying we're supposed to be love, can we assume that interconnectedness is making up a constant field of friction with each other? It's not all love. It means that we have overlapping fields of experience with each other. We're not completely merging, but we have overlapping fields of experience with each other. And my needs and your needs, they touch. And sometimes there is not enough space for all of those needs, and we need to start to negotiate. We need to start to negotiate those needs. And if we go into the broad sense of interconnectedness, there is the needs of other beings and of nature, and there is a field of tension, As soon as I assume it's my freedom, it's my right to, the other is clearly in the way, to say, get out of my field of needs. This is mine. And interconnectedness is reminding us to say, no, this is natural, this belongs, this field of friction. And the friction is not the problem. It's rather a task we need to wake up to, and we need to learn how to handle. So whatever interrelational friction we have, underlying are probably a set of needs which need to be negotiated. And I wish we would all, that's my humble wish, not that we would all be loved, but that we would all have the appropriate tools to handle to negotiate our needs, in non-aggressive ways, because that is where I rather think the challenge is, that to say how skilled are we to handle this friction, or are we leaning more towards either imploding and giving up the needs, or exploding, others are exploding and pushing away the other one with their needs and their concerns and their boundaries, and that's really all very unnecessary, troubling stuff. So let's get it out of the way, and if necessary, with quite some pressure. And I find this in myself. I know, at least for myself, that I'm working on a pattern to say, well, all disharmony feels slightly threatening. So there is a steady need for myself to ground myself, to ease up myself when there are fields of disharmony arising, whether it's within the patchwork family, where it very naturally belongs, I believe, or in work relationships or whatever, to say, this is a field of tension, but it's not a problem in the sense of, someone has done something wrong. I have done something wrong. I must have done something wrong because now we have a conflict. Or he or she or they must be wrong, because we are in a conflict. To say, well, maybe this belongs. Maybe we are just at the moment at this very important topic of negotiating needs once again. And we can do so in skillful, and we can do so in less skillful ways. So you could observe how you react, when your imperfections, which are there just like my imperfections, meet the imperfections of the other. Sometimes we resist and think, is this really necessary? Or sometimes we react with disappointment, thinking, this relationship, especially with the heightened or overarched idea of romantic relationship, we think, this isn't supposed to be like this. Like, this is my significant other. It's supposed to be easier. It's supposed to be different. We're not supposed to negotiating needs so much. This is a very, to me, almost like a childlike disappointment to say, I can see my kids, like if I need to remind them of their household chores, and they're coming up and saying, this is not how it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be Sunday, and then Sunday you don't do anything. Saying, no, I don't think you woke up to the fabric of life yet. Like, in order to sustain yourselves, you need to do a whole lot of work. It starts in the morning when you wash yourself and tend to your body. Like, being alive is a whole lot of work. And same as running a community. in the form of a family or anything else. Yeah. So do I resist or react with disappointment when disharmony arises? Or do I turn against myself or the other? Yeah, you are wrong, I am wrong, someone must have done something wrong because now we have friction. So maybe that is something to hold within the heart, to say conflict and disagreement are not a sign of something going wrong or someone doing something wrong. They belong to the fabric of being human, being interconnected. And the Buddha acknowledged that deeply. Yeah, he said that he'd never said that all relationships, surely not, that relationships are always love and sunshine. He gave out so many guidelines to handle that friction within the Sangha, so many rules to give the skillful tools to be within those interrelational fields and handle them well. And this is why we have an Eightfold Path. And if you look into the Eightfold Path, appropriate action and appropriate ways of communicating and appropriate ways of, that is what we do this week, Samavijja, appropriate ways of being, living together, lifestyle. All that was part, all that was part of his teaching. He was implying to the fact that friction is there. So what do we need? Surely some tools to negotiate needs, and surely some resilience to unfulfilled needs. Others will not always fulfill those needs. And thus we need ways to self-soothe. Yeah, I need to self-soothe a whole lot over the day because not all my needs are fulfilled, surely not. Yeah. So I need to take care of the heart mind of the chitta when it's grieving the fact that not all needs are met. And this is important to me, I also need to be able to differentiate between, there is some friction and some disagreement and some unmet needs, and the other thing is aggression. Yeah. Aggression arises when someone is not capable to handle that field of tension. Yeah. And not capable to negotiate the needs, but needs to bring pressure in. Yeah. That's not a negotiation, then it's a pressure. Then there is power, then there is some harm, then there is disrespect acting. Yeah. So also clear eye on the difference between negotiating needs and someone, either myself or another, using the tool of aggression for that negotiation. And let me end up with something which I find very important in order to be able to hold all that interconnectedness and messiness of our relationships. And that's my view, and you test that for yourself. The longer I teach, the longer I practice, I think I find a human need and a craving for unconditional love. I wish to just fully merge with someone or something. Some people have it. For some, it's very obvious. Some people don't have it in the forefront of their practice, of their needs, of their wishes. Yeah, I wish there would be someone or something who would just fully hold me, get me, show unconditional kindness and love and care for me. Yeah. And in the field of imperfect others, other human beings, I just can't find him or her or whatever it is. Yeah. And to come, it was very helpful for me to come to terms to say this is a spiritual need. Yeah. I'm not expecting anyone, a person or a group, to give this to me, this unconditional form of love or care or kindness. I can see glimmers in it in other people. Surely I can. Sometimes the divine in all of us shines through. But I'm not expecting someone to be my ongoing source of unconditional love. That is where my practice comes in. And the Buddha called the heart qualities the Brahmaviharas. There's one beautiful sutta and one beautiful teaching where he calls the Brahmaviharas the path to the divine. Yeah. Someone comes up to him and asks him, "Can you show me the path to God?" And he said, pretty self-assured. He said, yeah, sure I can. So, oh, you can show me the path to God. Where is it? And the Buddha then goes into the Brahma Viharas and goes to metta, the kindness, and karuna, the care, and mudita, the appreciation, and upekkha, the equanimity, the spaciousness. So you go that direction. That's where you find the divine. And so if there is a need, and almost to entangle the expectations I have in this interconnectedness, in field of interconnectedness, to disentangle that, maybe I need to explore that path to the divine the Buddha provides, or other spiritual paths provide, but clearly separated from my expectations in the field of interconnectedness. Yeah, to say, then I can live with the messiness sometimes it provides, with the friction, with the conflict it provides, and can actually develop the tools necessary to do that. So to sum it up, neither are we supposed to be only love, and nor is all relationship dukkha. Yeah, but it's always a mixture of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, and in order to be in the middle of that good, bad, and ugly field, I need some tools. Yeah, I cannot expect in a very childlike manner that things will become fine. I need the tools to navigate that field. So interconnectedness, if we embrace it as a concept, it hands us the task to accommodate that natural friction arising from different needs, perspectives, and interpretations of our experience. And may we all learn, we here and beyond our Sangha here, may we all learn how to handle these differences without aggression to either ourselves or others. Great. Let's bring it into practice then. Find your way, self posture to sit, to stand up. Feel free to stand up. It can be such a helpful posture. Or to lie down, or to walk within the room. And once you've chosen that posture, allow your awareness, your mindfulness to arrive within that. No haste and hurry in this practice. Mind time, the time of words and concepts, is so quick. Body time, chitta time is so much slower. For a couple of moments, bring some attention to everything which touches the ground, everything which gives you a feeling of solidity, stability. There might be a lot of other things going on, thoughts and physical experience, memories, ideas, plans. And we don't need to push anything away or get rid of anything, but rather try to find in the middle of all that a sense, a feeling, or something which grounds you. Gives you a sense of stability, rootedness. Just as we said yesterday, the meditation is the moment where we can put the burden down, the roles and the expectations, the leaning into the future, the felt sense of responsibility for the past, all that we think we should be able to do or could be doing. And find some sense of support within this posture, within this moment of sitting, standing, lying down. Maybe the support comes through the stability of your body, or through the sense of being held by the earth element, or surrounded by the air element. And every now and then, when our mindfulness has the capacity, you take that in to say, here, dear heart, see, there is some support, there is some stability, there is some spaciousness available. And I don't need to do anything for that. I can tap into that field of openness, of support, can gently lean into that. And if you like, you could use the breath to breathe with care and kindness into this body, into this heart mind. Maybe this whole field of relationship has left its imprint upon the heart and the body. It's not quite so easy to disentangle. Gently, calmly breathing into this body space. Every inhale, every exhale, a very small confirmation saying this moment is safe. This moment is free from demand and pressure. And then in a little playful style, we can bring up some of our roles. Maybe there's a role of father and mother, grandfather, grandmother, child, daughter, son. And you bring up the person you relate to in this way and to just listen to the echo of that. Just bringing up the image can have quite a significance, quite an imprint. And then you put it down again. Not right now. I'm not in that role right now. This is not who I am right now. But there is this body and this breathing. And there might be roles from work, the responsible one, the effective one, the one who knows, the one who has a solution. To feel how it would be to step into this role. And then the invitation to put that down to not right now. I don't need to fill out those shoes in this moment.
Today's podcast is an offering to you from our archive of freely available live daily classes. We make wisdom teachings and meditations as freely available as possible to as many people as wish to practice. You can help ensure we can continue to support a worldwide Sangha by leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts, by sharing this with someone who'd be interested, and by offering a small financial support at sangha.live/donate.